Hello everyone, this is Luke, and welcome to the sixth battle of turn 19. I love how there's so many that they really need to be numbered. Where today we've got a big battle happening between 37 Panzer Battalion and 1st Panzer Division Hammern up against the 1st Border Patrol, Razgriz, and the 112th Tactical Fighter Division from Historia. The Air Force of XG-20 was also dispatched by Ruskommando, but was shot down en route by Jericho, leaving them unable to participate in this battle, where we've just got the land ship and the smaller land lads over here. This is definitely the biggest single tank blueprint deployed so far. And yeah, it is quite the beast. Over $500,000 cost, with a massive gun and rangefinder fittings that are like straight off of a battleship. Although already that damage does not bode well for the fight to come. Over on the Historian side, it's just about 20 tanks. I think 19. Alongside 8 fighter aircraft, who are probably not going to ram into the ground. Plus 4 of a modified version of the export Maquis from the Light of the Sanctified, which is this lad. Nope. Which, as I said, is this guy right here. Now painted in different livery, including the clackety-clacky sticks of the Winged Hussars, the Star of Historia, and a 3 lightning bolt shield, which I think is probably a symbol unique to this air division, though I am not an expert on livery. Here we can see, looks like the fighter's going to be the ones closing in first. Ooh, already there's a lot of stuff going down on the big tank. A lot of missile hits, some explosions, and smoke being deployed. I feel like that guy will decide the battle. If it gets destroyed quickly, then it's very certainly a loss for Ruskommando. But if it stays up until a very long time, then it's going to be an easy win, because the Historians are outnumbered about 2-to-1 for cost here. So it will be a tough fight to pull off. It does seem like target prior... Oh, no. Well, target prior strikes again in that this thing is targeting the planes, but also that turret just got popped. Oh my goodness. Who did this? Only 3 meters of armor protecting the main cannon from the outside world. That seems to have been a security oversight. I assume it's the big Historian tank destroyers that manage that. I think they've got 500 mil or close cannons, but goodness, I did not expect the land battleship to go down that quickly. And 1 anti-aircraft gun is also down. So it's just 3 guns on a really big hull left. 1 aircraft has been taken down. Looks like one of the fighters. Meanwhile, some of these tanks are getting lain into by the tanks. But clearly that's a huge yikes for the flagship, or flag tank, I guess, of the Ruskommandon's force here. And 1 other tank has been disabled. It probably lost the cannon even before it friendly rammed, but it could have lost that to the ram, I'm not sure. More EMP is landing. Although this guy at least has survived it so far, but this guy may have lost his main gun, even if the vehicle itself is still alive. Ooh, and that is... I don't know what went down here, yikes. 4 aircraft killed in an instant. I feel like that might have involved some collisions. But it could have also just been good anti-aircraft fire. Meanwhile, 3 Ruskommando tanks are dead to AI, as well as 1 Victorian blueprint tank, but on the historian side, is 2 damaged. I think that it rammed this guy, much as these 2 are doing a similar game here. But with 3 of the smaller tanks dead and the bigger one crippled, as well as another smaller tank crippled, this is a really bad start to the battle for Ruskommando. There's still a chance, I think, to turn it around. There's decent damage among the historian tanks, but it's probably unlikely. Okay. And it looks like the Maquis are swarming over the big guy. They're the ones with searchlights there. Not that their Hesh has too much value, and this thing's got only 2 small turrets left. And I'm going to guess most of the important internals are very well buried behind some massive air gaps. Yeah. But those guys can still take out the smaller AA turrets, of which but 2 remain. Checking in on these tanks now. The remaining 4 still appear to be fairly operational. Bit of a odd move. This guy's going after aircraft, it seems like. Aircraft it probably can't actually hit, mind you. This is a crippled one of the tank destroyers. Has no gun left at all. That box got totally emptied. So it looks like, yeah, just 2 of these really big ones. The Vanderbunkers, or Vanderbunkers, which I assume means wonder bunkers. And just 1 Jagd Moby Dick, which is an interesting term for a Jagdpanzer. Boing. Another tank with a destroyed turret. So it looks like the Ruskommando, or Reginaldian, whatever they're going by now, tanks can do a lot of damage when they hit, but they just haven't managed to hit very many tanks. Like, there's a decent number sitting around that are missing a turret or that got quickly killed. But with such big units, it's hard to get the DPS you need. And it looks like while I was over there, nope, okay, they're both still here. They just got separated. I thought for a second one of these guys had died. The Vanderbunkers are 97 and 91, while the last remaining Jagd Moby Dick is 98. And the Tajina Senpai, the really big tank, is 62, with 4 Maquis and 2 other aircraft swarming it, I think. Or maybe just 3 Maquis. And the Maki model being used here is the Sigrun. Yeah, the Sigrun. You can see almost all of the tanks have suffered some damage. That one's at 57. This one is 75. 69. Nice. 99. 96. So there's definitely losses on the historian side, but that Tajina really needed to have its turret last a lot longer for this battle to have been competitive. Oof. That's a good shot. I mean, these guys can manage good damage when they're actually hitting stuff. That Gaston is not long for this world with such withering fire like this. Goodness. Kinda hard to miss at range like that. Something just blew up quite nicely. But I do not know what. Those Gastons are just chasing mindlessly after the big tank. Jumping over hills, that's funny. There is water, yes. On the map, we'll say that they are... they've kind of backed around into either like just a random unmarked pond, or they're close to the really big river that goes through this region. It's definitely not the coast. But they've all been drawn towards it for some reason. Oh. What? Maki, why? Or Sigrun, why? You've had such a good life to live. There used to be a... I just saw that out of the corner of my eye. That thing just dive-bombed. Probably the terrain change got it. It didn't realize there was different height of terrain there. Everyone just running down into this gully for some reason. Such a funny, like, extended tank fight. There's just two columns going down. One of the Historian tanks, one of the Ruskommandos. Things have really slowed down now. Like, I thought this was going to be a total Historian sweep, but... they're down. That Sigrun is... in space? In space. Okay, well that guy I can just kill. But yeah, there's just the line of tanks. There's the 4 remaining aircraft. It looks like a ghost, 2 ghosts, 3 ghosts, and a Sigrun. Interesting. So 1 Sigrun went to space. I think 2 either got shot down or hit the ground. And a lot of ghosts got shot down. I don't know who did that. I wouldn't have expected the Ruskommando tanks to have very good AA. But these Wanderbunkers are living up to their name. They are remarkably resilient. While the other tanks have all been quickly crippled or taken out, these guys have survived well. I don't know if that's redundancy or just thick armor. It's not that thick. I guess maybe just less vulnerabilities. And clipless, I suppose, while it's not the most cost efficient, does mean you're less likely to get chain reaction. This may yet be a victory for Ruskommando. I mean, the big guy has no turrets left, it's just a glorified target. Which just leaves the 2 Wanderbunkers and the 1 tank destroyer down there. So let me travel over that way, see how it is doing. That wasn't... okay. I guess that is where I clicked, but I didn't mean to go there. I want to see how this guy's doing. It is getting fired upon, I think at least by this guy. Even if it's not doing very much, that's only a 40-ton tank. And let me find the Sigrun that is up here. How am I even going to get... I want to despawn it, but I can't do that without the Q menu, and I don't know how close I can get with the Q menu. just gotta test out all of the directions until I get close. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this guy's in space. I'll kill it. In general, if something goes to space and doesn't seem to be heading back, I will delete it from play, just so it doesn't stand a chance at being a distraction. Oh, there's one of the Gastons, I think, is too damaged. Probably rammed one of those guys or just took their fire for too long. Okay, this guy's still got a turret, so he's still competitive. At least a little bit. And by turret, I mean gun. It's not an actual turret. Oof. These guys really need to target that guy instead of keep going for the big guy that is completely unarmed at this point. Goodness, what is the range on these shells? That guy. I mean, this thing didn't even travel a kilometer. And it lost velocity. The land fort continues to run away. Ooh, here is the AI box, I assume. Yep. So if this box gets pierced, I'm willing to wager that Historia wins. If it doesn't, then I bet they lose. Because this thing's just going to keep attracting their fire and leave them vulnerable to the Vanderbunkers. But if this heavy armor beam right here gets broken, or the one back there, then it's all over for the Ruskommandos, I think. Ooh, especially after that, what I assume was a collision. Yikes. Just the one Razgriz and one Ghost left then for the aircraft. One more tank killed. Yep, this thing's gotta die soon or it's all over for Historia. One more tank killed. Although, I don't know if that was... Ooh, okay, that looks like it was the... Oh, nope, never mind, that's just another Historian tank. The, the Moby Dick over there is still doing fine. Slowly sniping the rear of the Historian tank column, but at this point it's kind of lost targets. And is going after this Vernek that I think got immobilized a long time ago. So taking it out of the battle for now. And this Tajina Senpai is 59% and slowly dropping. Let's check in on the all-important AI box. No more noticeable damage to the heavy armor shell. This thing may just get slowly chunked out. Having the top made of 2-meter beams is probably not going to help its case, because that's some pretty easy block count to chew through. Potentially, anyways. But this string of tanks is just it's going to be messed over by terrain constantly as it tries to follow this thing up the hill. And this thing's so massive that it takes a lot of hits to even do 1% damage. And they've got to hit it for another 4 or 5. If there were more jets in the air, that'd be a lot easier, but with only one left, it's just not a lot of DPS. I'm going to guess that 2 damage is on the very last 40 ton that got left behind. Yep, looks like it. So eventually that Jagd Moby Dick will come over. Looks like one of the Vanderbunkers is disabled, and this one is at least losing health, even if it's very slowly. Looks like in the stern chase here we've got a bull tank, both heavily damaged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Vernex. 8 in varying states of damage. Up with one of those AI dead. The Tajina Senpai keeps rolling on. 1% more damage. I'm gonna go and get water, and once I'm back it'll probably have taken 2% damage. Oh, there went part of the last AA turret. Ooh, that was probably good. Nope, still 58. The AI box, uh-oh. The AI box has been pierced. But it will take time for damage to get in there. But I think this thing's definitely going to die before the end of the battle. Even as one more Vernek gets killed. %57 on the big fella. Oh. AI dead. The Tajina Senpai TPD is out. And now we'll see what happens when the aircraft and other tanks finally focus on these Vanderbunkers. These bull tanks have eaten so much fire, and I mean, a lot of them have died, but their ability to sustain multiple hits before dying has been huge for the survivability of Historia in this battle. Okay, yep, Vanderbunker, Jagd Moby Dick. Both some decent damage. This guy has already lost 1% more since we last checked in on him. Why is the top made of single blocks? Why? I guess there's some beams in here too. I'll give it the charitable assumption that was where a detection piece went. But, yeah, okay, it's mostly beams. That's good at least. But they are only too thick, so eventually that cannon's going to start taking a lot of damage. And with Hesh firing down from the Sigrun, there's a good chance it's already taken some significant damage. 87. Still at 95, probably still at 88. Yeah. Let's go over to these tanks, see how they are. I go check in and they're all upside down. Okay, or 2 of them are on their sides. 3 of the remainder are missing turrets. This guy is missing the important part of its turret. Okay, so there are 2 guns left among these Vernex. No! Buddy, you're worse than useless, come on! Unless you're trying to tip him over. In which case, maybe, but doesn't look like it. It's taken some damage. But, ooh, looks like these bull tanks, one of them's already dead. The other one will soon join it. And I'm not seeing any fast moving dots, which means all of the aircraft have been shot down. So this one's going to be a narrow victory for Ruskommando, I think. With 2 damaged Vanderbunkers, both that they brought, and then 1 out of, I think, their 5 Jagd Moby Dicks left. They did lose their flagship vehicle, the biggest tank yet deployed, but they have won the ground in the end of the day. Pew. And after their victory here, these guys are destined for Gdansk. Historia, if you... just forts. Okay. That's to be expected. So of the 4 Sigrun's, 1 went into space. I saw 1 hit the ground, I think. And the other 2 either were shot down by anti-aircraft or died to collisions with other aircraft and or the ground. There is only 1 Historian tank left with a turret, and it's this guy. Who is run away! Up against 87%, 93, and 88. Yeah. I feel like if those jets lasted longer on the Historian side, they would have been able to bring this one home. Because those guys have so much more DPS compared to the small tanks like the Sigruns. And if the bigger tanks had actually focused on this guy when it was close instead of the really huge one, I think they would have won it as well. Because then they wouldn't have gotten shot in the back while fleeing this guy. So this is the tank that won them the battle. If not for this guy, this final Jagd Moby Dick, then there would have been a lot more Historian tanks left at this point, who could have probably finished them off. Or finished off the Vanderbunkers. Because I think this one has had its... okay. I think the big gun might be disabled on this one, I'm not certain. But... kind of hard to tell. I know there's been some damage on the inside. Mostly, I think, from Hesh, but some shots also got all the way through. But just a little bit more time and the tanks could have killed that. Or the planes. But we'll stay with the battle till the end. Yeah, definitely a great showing for Historia. They definitely came out of this positively for cost. Oh, this guy has finally lost enough of his turret to no longer be functional, so we can call the battle here with just a 88%, 87, and 93 on the last Jagd Moby Dick. Congratulations to both sides for Ruskommando's strategic victory and the Duchy of, or the Kingdom of Historia's tactical victory. And that brings an end to this one. Until the continuation. Yes, these guys will suffer some mine damage, which I will roll shortly, as any minesweepers that they may have had have definitely been destroyed in this battle. And there are some mines along the border. And then if they survive that, they'll get to fight Gdansk. So, that's the end of this part.